Hi, boys, and welcome back to the Off the Line podcast with myself, Jamie.
Hello.
And our third guest of the series so far, Mr. Cameron Gervin.
All right, dickheads.
We're really good at intros.
As you couldn't tell from that little snippet of speech, Gervin is from Yorkshire.
Oh, well, yep.
Big Newcastle fan. So,
Big lad.
any jokes about takeover will be met with
It will not be tolerated.
extreme hostility.
Yeah.
But no, we're going to jump into a Bosh. If you don't know how this works by now, we're going to talk about the fixtures just gone last weekend. We're going to talk about what we think good, what we think was bad, and then we're going to move on to talking about next weekend's Premier League games. Obviously, there's no football this week because in the middle of a national lockdown, they had to take all the players abroad, which makes
perfect sense. I think they're playing right as we're recording this. I think it's England-Ireland right now as well.
Yeah, they've just kicked off.
Yeah, quickly, just before we start as well, everyone, if you could scroll down a little bit, go on, tap that little like button just before we start and hit the subscribe. It would be very appreciative from me and Sam. But
yeah.
We ready?
Yeah, let's go, man.
Okay, good. Right. Should we look at last week's results?
I think that's probably how we do it by now.
Let's talk about the most interesting game of the weekend. On the Friday night, Brighton 0, Burnley 0. Anyone watch this?
It was on pay-per-view, wasn't it, this one?
You're joking, was it?
No, yep, this is a pay-per-view game.
Randomly protesting pay-per-view football by playing awfully boring football.
This is why they ended it. They watched this game and they ended it as they watched it.
This was the death of pay-per-view.
So we cannot morally charge 15 quid to make people watch this. It's not right. It was awful, and I have nothing really to say about it other than Sean Dyche has Brexited it.
To be fair, look at these stats. How this ended 0-0 is a bit of a shocker.
Oh shit! I've just looked.
Yeah, I've just seen. How is that 0-0? Bloody hell, Burnley!
Right.
Who knows?
Oh my god! 19 shots, 3 on target, and nearly 60% possession. I think they got FM'd a bit, Gav.
I swear, Lamptey missed an absolute sitter as well in like the first half.
Oh, we don't like Lamptey slander on this channel because Sam.
No, I love him. I love him. I bloody love him. I'm just saying. I swear he missed a chance in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah. It's a shame, but another point on the board for Burnley in their bid to survive.
They're going to need them all, let's put it that way.
Yeah, definitely. There's not really much more to say about that, so should we move on to the next one? And Gav, I'll let you take point on this, just because
I don't want to talk about it. It don't make it.
Please don't make him.
Do you know the most frustrating thing about this game was Southampton weren't brilliant. They weren't amazing. It's just we were shite.
Yeah.
Nothing was offered, and it just don't make sense because last week it was the exact same team, nothing changed, same play, same formation, everything. Against Everton, unbelievable performance. Southampton, fucking awful.
It's so weird. I don't get how inconsistent you lot are. What is it that makes you lot so inconsistent?
It's Steve Bruce. He just doesn't understand that you can't play the same football against every team.
Yeah.
Opening weekend, we beat you 3-0.
Yeah.
Then we've gone on to play our next 4 games, the exact same formation, same players, and we got battered a few times. It's obviously it's not going to work.
Is
different
Jeff
styles.
Hendrick still a Premier League player?
Fucking hell. Against West Ham he was.
Yeah, he was. He was brilliant against us.
Fucking baller that week. Ever since then, he's still in our starting 11. But it's because we don't have any options at the moment.
Yeah.
Sean Longstaff, Matty Longstaff coming back from injury. We've got Jonjo, who's been absolutely atrocious. Isaac Hayden's there, but he's out injured now for a few weeks. Our midfield's just in the ground.
Yeah. Well, it's a shame, but Southampton carrying on the insane run of form. Really, Che Adams is looking like a far cry from what he was last year. I don't think he scored until sort of late on in the season for Southampton.
He didn't get any game time last year either, did he? Was that bad?
That's true. But he's, Ings was injured, and I thought coming into this game, you thought, Southampton might struggle without Ings here, and Newcastle had a good run of upsetting teams like Everton, like they did last week. So.
We got very lucky against Everton, but I've been speaking to some Southampton fans are saying that Adams is actually better than Ings this year.
Yeah.
So that sums up how
and Walcott being
good he's been
fantastic
playing
for them as well. And they went top of the Premier League for a day.
They were buzzing about that.
Yeah, they were buzzing. We were at the receiving end of that because we got a couple of mates who are Southampton fans.
And they enjoyed that one quite a lot.
They did.
Pricks.
But yeah, should we move on to Saturday now?
We should.
And we'll go Everton versus United. Sam, what was your thoughts about this game? 3-1 to United. What do you think?
To me. He's come to me because he knows I don't like United. And he knows
Agenda's got her agenda.
that I can't go without praising. He knows I can't go without praising them for their performance on Saturday. Because it seems to be that every time Ole Gunnar Solskjaer seems to be right on the cusp of losing his job, Bruno Fernandes and Manchester United turn up and get a result. And it's happened again. Everton, I think, are starting to look very much like Everton and not like title contenders.
I doubt that, though. I don't agree on that one.
Really? 3 losses in a row?
Well, who's been missing? Who's been missing for all 3 of those games?
Yeah, there is Richarlison.
Richarlison.
Yeah.
They've not won a game. If Richarlison doesn't play, they don't win. Every game he's
Ballon
missed.
d'Or winner, Richarlison.
Every game he's played. Every game he's missed, they haven't won. Yeah. Like they need him back. Like, as soon as he's back, then we can judge them again.
He's an integral part of the team. Defensively, I didn't think they were very good on Saturday either. Bruno Fernandes' first goal was pretty soft by the standards of a team that have been considered for Champions League and potentially there were conversations about them winning the title at the start of the year. So defensively, I think the way they played on Saturday was disappointing. Bruno Fernandes is showing himself to be a wonderful player.
He's very.
He's top talent.
He's an absolute bastard to play against, though.
He is. He's horrible.
What I will say, and Sam, you'll like this, is that Man United win a game relatively convincingly without the inclusion of Paul Pogba in the team, and the inclusion of Fred and Scott McTominay as the sort of 2 that sat in front of the defence.
So, and even Mata was involved on Saturday. Even Mata started the game. So, I think Paul Pogba actually takes away from the grit in their team. I think it was there on Saturday. I think a lot of the tackles in the second half and the making the game difficult for Everton, flying into people. I think it helped them out actually having 2 players in behind the back line. Whereas if you put Paul Pogba there, then he kind of wanders around it, but he hasn't got that tenacity about him sometimes, and it comes in drabs with him. So no, I think Manchester United should continue to focus on playing players that are going to really dig in and fight for the team.
Yeah,
you should have seen Pogba against Finland. Pogba against Finland. It was the worst performance I've ever seen. Literally worse than his Man United. Literally hardly touched the ball, gave it away. He was just pointing at players, just doing nothing. Absolutely atrocious.
What's the solution for Paul Pogba? Then you've got to ask, really. What have you got to do?
Send him somewhere he's happy. Yeah, he'll be happy.
He's desperate to play for Real Madrid. It's whether Real Madrid have got the money at the moment to pay for him.
Thing is, he'll only be 50. What we said, like 50, 60 mil.
Yeah, in this climate.
To bring him in. So bring him in for that much, and it's no risk for Madrid because they can easily offload him again in a couple of years for that price.
Yeah.
So it's Paul Pogba. Everyone will always pay for him.
But yeah, overall, decent performance from Man United. Bruno Fernandes with 2 goals and an assist. We'll talk about him a bit later in the power rankings. But yeah, we'll move on to a surprise result, I think. I don't think anybody was expecting this. I think me and Sam said on the Bosh that we expected Leeds to win this. And then I looked at my phone sort of halfway through the day and was like, Crystal Palace are 4-1 up against Leeds.
Absolutely battered them.
Yeah. Did anyone watch the game? Did anyone see sort of what happened? Because I don't think I even saw the highlights of this.
It was another pay-per-view game.
Yeah, it's pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Which, just on behalf of everyone involved with this, thank God you're all dropping this shit. No one wants to. No one's paying 15 quid to watch Leeds play Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't see the games. I've seen the highlights. VAR was involved again, obviously, with the ban for goal.
This was the horrendous
VAR
decision.
I saw that.
Yeah.
You can argue over. It was actually his shirt sleeve.
That's the rule, isn't it? Because you can score with your armpit these days, can't you?
Yeah, it was. They said because he was pointing to where he wanted the ball, his arm was offside, or part of his arm was offside. It was his shirt sleeve. It was ridiculous.
That's the worst offside there's been so far.
And that's the thing. It was a shame. Right. Bamford scored a really good goal, and Leeds scored a really good goal, and it's been chalked off because VAR and the rules are ludicrous.
The thing is, you do have to call into question Leeds conceding 4 to what's been quite a poor Crystal Palace side so far this year.
I'm not saying that that's absolving Leeds of any blame. I'm just saying if that goal goes in, then they're in a good place to carry on. But like you said, you can't.
Oh, Mike Dean was on the VAR. That's why. Okay, I see.
Makes sense now. All adds up.
I just saw it at the bottom of my screen. I thought, there we go. That's what's happening.
That's the reason.
But yeah, really good result for Palace in terms of their season. They'll have a middling season, but yeah, Leeds again weird. They lost to conceded 4 goals. Was it 4 goals to Leicester last week as well?
Yep, 4-1.
That's 8 goals in 2 weeks, and it's not looking pretty for Bielsa's men. I don't think their new signings have quite settled in as well as he would have liked. Players like Robin Koch and Ilan Meslier, I think, or Meslier, I'm not sure.
He looks atrocious.
He doesn't look good, does he?
He looks absolutely.
Seeing him, but I don't know.
He looks about 16 as well.
Right. So
and also shout out to Eberechi Eze. Really good goal.
Yeah.
Really good goal.
His first goal for Palace.
He was meant to be coming to Newcastle.
Yeah, he's meant to come to West Ham as well.
He's meant to go everywhere. He's meant to go everywhere.
It's another one of these relegation teams who were meant to get 14 championship players in the
You shut up. Do you want to talk about him then? Go on. We'll leave so Sam can talk about Chelsea Sheffield for a bit.
Great performance. I think it's the first time this season we've had to come from behind and win a game.
Yeah.
That I can remember. I don't think we've been behind and then come and won a game so far this year. I might be wrong, but you go behind 5 minutes in against Sheffield United. Last season, you'd be expecting a really tough rest of the game. I think that's fair to say. The way they were playing last year, you go 1-0 behind against them, even away from home, you're expecting it to be tough.
Yeah.
And then 8 minutes later, we scored, and then we scored again. And it was far too easy, really.
Yeah, I watched.
And I say that.
To be fair,
I say that from a point of view of yes, Chelsea were very good, and yes, Hakim Ziyech looks like a real talent. Timo Werner obviously scoring again, Tammy Abraham getting a goal, and Thiago Silva getting a goal that he's massively deserved for the performances he's put in over the last.
All of the new signings that were playing had a massive part in this game. It's Kai Havertz missed out due to COVID reasons, but yeah. And David McGoldrick can't stop scoring against Chelsea. He loves it.
He loves it.
It was a nice little flick as well. Nice, good goal.
It was a really nice flick. Unfortunately, the rest of his team
let him down.
Cannot come up to scratch for whatever reason. I mean, they're missing Jack O'Connell through injury, which is a big knock to them.
Yeah.
Because he was arguably their best defender last year. But you're trying to stay in the division and you go 1-0 up against a big team. Yeah. I think they approached it the wrong way. I think that they were just second best to every ball.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's been the story every game for them so far.
Rhian Brewster was a ghost.
Bang average.
5 touches in the first half. Rhian Brewster, that's the centre forward. Is for that signing, and I said it on the Bosh. On the Bosh last week, I said on the transfer roundup this week, I don't see him being anywhere near good enough for this league.
There's a reason Liverpool let him go in the manner they have.
Yeah, I think I said this on the episode. I said that if he was standard and if he was good enough, Liverpool wouldn't have sold him.
Yeah.
Let him go. Why do they need to? If he's good enough, why do they need to sell him?
Yeah.
And he's not quite at the standard. I think everyone knows that now.
Yeah.
He looked rejected on Saturday, and ultimately a really good result for us and a really good performance from a few players. Hakim Ziyech in.
Oh, he was absolutely magnificent. We'll talk about it a bit later, but I watched that game and I was just in awe the entire time. But should we move on to the most convincing win of the weekend?
Bloody hell. This game.
Yeah, it was quite funny, wasn't it? I wasn't watching it because it was pay-per-view, so I tried to stream little bits of it, but
there was a particular moment that was especially funny.
Yeah.
I'm not sure
so stupid. I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it, but because it's 3 points on the board at the end of the day. And to be fair, for West Ham, at the start of this podcast, I was saying, even a couple of Boshes in, I said, we could be moving into the November international break with 0 points, and we're on 11. So
yeah,
because Moyes got COVID.
Yeah, yeah, and then he came back and results dropped. But yeah, this one, I thought we should have been scoring a bit more against Fulham. But the last couple of games we played, we've had to stick on the back foot and sort of grind a result out, which we have done really well. But now the shoe's on the other foot, and we're the favourites in a game. And I just think maybe we've had a bit of trouble adjusting to that. But yeah, a nice goal from Souček, and then obviously the Ademola Lookman Panenka penalty was very reminiscent of one of the ones I do on FIFA on Pro Clubs. Because
every night
there's a set of rules I live by. Yeah.
If you're Scott Parker, you're going to be absolutely gutted.
I say the thing is, what do you do with him now? Do you drop him? Do you bring him back in team? Try and give him a bit more confidence?
You've got to keep with him, in my opinion. Because I think for the other 95 minutes of the game, I thought he
is their best player.
Yeah,
he is by far their best player on the pitch.
It's just a shame. I mean,
yeah, give him another penalty and say, if you don't fucking swat this into the top bins, then
you're gone.
I'll release you.
The Panenka will be the last thing the goalies are going to be expecting now.
Yeah, you watch your Panenka again.
Yeah, if Panenka's going to miss it again, I feel like Scott Parker will have a scrap.
Just going to run onto the pitch and lamp him, yeah.
Chelsea.
What a guy.
But yeah, 1-0 win, I'll take it.
It's the kind of moment that can kill a season, that. It's the kind of moment that you can, if they go down at the end of the year, you can point to that and go, well, that was really poor. And Lookman could live to.
I think the most damning indictment of it was that Sky Sports came out with a video a couple of days later, like literally a day later, and they were waiting for someone to take a bad penalty. They said some of the worst penalties in Premier League history, and they were showing all of them, and they put Lookman's at the end, and I just thought, oh, you bastards, just leave him alone.
They know. Everything he's been through, and you've done that to him.
Anyway, the next game.
Just the Sunday.
That was it.
No. Oh.
That was Sunday games.
Yeah, Sunday games. 1-0 Tottenham West Brom. Apparently, this was a bit of a dire affair.
Yeah, it was really drab. Harry Kane, obviously.
Really glad I triple captained Son on my fantasy team for this.
That was a nightmare.
I was gutted, mate. I was shadowboxing. I was like, why hasn't he done a football yet? I expect Tottenham to go to the Hawthorns and win like 5-1, Son to get a hat-trick and 2 assists, and I get 80 points and I look like an absolute mastermind. But
like last season with Sterling.
Yeah, you know.
Jamie's mum walked into the front room. Jamie stood on his feet, throwing right hooks. Uppercuts. It's just shadow boxing in a mirror. Triple captained him. Nightmare. No, it was really poor. Again.
To be fair to Tottenham, they got the 3 points.
Yeah.
End of the day.
They did. It's becoming very hard to pick between Burnley, Fulham, Sheffield United, and West Brom for who's gonna survive out of them lot, because no one bloody knows. They all look.
Well, Sheffield United are down, so we all know that's a fact.
Club rivalry. It's a completely erroneous one, because there's not a rivalry.
There's no rivalry. Just Sheffield United are down.
There's a rivalry between a guest we had on last week in this game. Anyone wondering why there's such a trigger here for this?
It's all love.
This is not a club-based thing.
This is personal.
The gloves are off. It's personal.
No rivalry. It's almost as if Sheffield United and Newcastle are like the kids caught in between the divorce. Throwing their clubs at each other.
Right, let's move on.
But no, let's move on.
Leicester Wolves. I watched this game. The penalty.
I say penalties galore.
Yeah, but did you see the Max Kilman shout out?
Oh,
big up. What a legend.
Honestly, that handball.
It's baffling how that's given.
I don't understand it. Like they even argued about it later in the VAR studio, didn't they?
Yeah, because there was a similar incident in the Liverpool game with Joe Gomez. But it begs belief. I don't get it. What is this rule?
The thing is, if even the refs in the VAR room can't decide what the rule is, how is anyone sat at home meant to say, yeah, it's handball? Or like it doesn't make any sense.
At least now, what I will say is, at least now it's consistent. It's just bad that it's consistently shit.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like at least. That's in the Liverpool one. They had to give the handball because it was the exact same.
Yeah, if you give the Leicester penalty, but you don't give the Liverpool penalty, there's got to be an inquest into it.
Yeah, it's got to be saying, hang on a minute, there's something going on.
Yeah, it's either neither of them or both of them.
It's a case now where you look at them and you go, well, that isn't a penalty, but they have to give it. Like the Liverpool one was arguably not a penalty, but because of the rules, they have to give it, and that's why it's shit, because there's no human decision anymore. No. It's so because they've introduced this thing where you can watch it back, you then have to follow the rules to the letter. Whereas I feel like when referees used to do it before, they used to look at it and go, "No, it's not a penalty," or they used to look at it and go, "Yeah, well," and it was a human decision. Whereas now it's so based on what's in black and white that it's like
there's no judgment anymore. It's purely just what.
It's just purely what the rules say,
which is not what football should be.
No, it's not. It's a human sport. That's what I mean. There should be human judgment on whether the decision. Like rugby, the referee, if they can see it on the screen, can override things if they think it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The thing is, in football, handball's one of the rules that VAR's changed the meaning of. Because it's no split second what you see. Now they can watch it for an hour. And your decision's going to change every time you see it. Like even when we watch games, you go, handball.
You're watching it on a monitor in slow motion and in 5 different angles, and you think that's not how football's played. You don't play in slow motion unless you're Sheffield United.
That's for us sat in the pub to shout at the TV when we see it in slow motion. Not for the ref to see it. Like.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's just a shame, but again, another win for Leicester, and they went. Are they top of the
league? Yes, they are. Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah.
But 9 penalties in 8 games for Leicester now.
Yeah.
Like, when do we start saying they're the penalty frauds?
Yeah. And the one game they didn't get a penalty? West Ham.
Well done. Yep, obviously.
Yeah, no. Right, so we'll talk about the Man City Liverpool, like the most heavyweight game I think this season's seen so far, and probably. And it was a bit of a. No, it was all right.
It was lackluster.
It wasn't great.
I think it came off in the second half that both teams, very much like in the Chelsea United game a couple of weeks earlier, were almost too scared to lose the game.
Yeah, it was a game of chicken, wasn't it?
It was. It was them trying to kind of bring each other out to go through. But I think Liverpool have actually lost more in this game than just 2 points. The injury to Alexander-Arnold is a.
Yeah, and obviously the Joe Gomez yesterday.
I say their defense is gone. Like they have no defenders left anymore.
Yeah.
But I mean, who plays at the back now? They've got obviously. I mean,
Nat Phillips and Joel Matip, I think, is their centre back options, and then James Milner at right back.
I say Fabinho will be back in a few weeks though, and Trent's only out for 4. So, but then it's just the centre back options.
All Liverpool have got hope for is just that they still keep up. Like you've got to rely on the attack until January, and then go out into January and get a Koulibaly or something.
Splash the cash again.
Yeah, because Gomez, Van Dijk both out for the season. You can't just. You've got to get someone in who's top quality, who's going to see you through the rest of that season.
The thing is that their first game back after the international break is against title rivals Leicester. So
yeah, and that'll be
that's the biggest game, and without any of their main players in defence there.
Definitely.
It'll be an interesting battle. But no, I think overall as a game it was okay. I think it was a high class.
It was high class, but it was boring as anything. It was boring.
I think Liverpool were quite good in the first half. I think they look a lot better than City.
But I think Pep Guardiola actually managed it really well in the second half. He very much limited Liverpool's play, and because Liverpool's entire game plan is about getting up to speed and carrying momentum, and then. Because Salah and Mane almost feed off it when when the teams start to get up to it and they score a goal, and then the danger of Liverpool is that they can then go and score 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Liverpool scored a goal, and I watching it thinking, all right, Liverpool are going to go on and win this now.
Yeah. And also a missed penalty by Kevin De Bruyne.
I was just about to say, that De Bruyne penalty changed the game. If that goes in, then we're looking at a complete different result.
Yeah, absolutely. A great turn by Jesus. Was it an accident?
Oh, fully accidental.
Yeah.
It's not that good.
after the game, he was in an interview and he was like, "No, that wasn't an accident." I was like, "All right, all right."
Thing is, if Aguero pulls it off, you're going, yeah, fair. That probably was on purpose. Jesus pulls off, no chance.
Agenda's got to agenda. Go.
Exactly.
No, yeah. I've always said Kevin De Bruyne was just a Belgian Ademola Lookman.
I just don't.
Have you always said that, Sam?
Yeah.
You might have messages to disprove that.
I've said that this could be De Bruyne's Ballon d'Or season. I've always said he's probably.
The thing is, you've got to hit the target from 12 yards, don't you?
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing not to.
I'd have chipped him.
If he gets saved, you can fair play to the keeper. If you miss the target, that's all on you.
Not good. Not good.
Like,
but no. Overall, I did enjoy watching it for the spectacle of watching really good football. But like Gervin said, it was a bit drab.
Yeah, didn't live up to the billing, I don't think. But...
Definitely not. If that was Burnley Brighton, we're slating that game. We're just saying it's good because the quality on the ball was good.
Yeah. Right, we'll move on then. Last game of the weekend.
The big one.
Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 3. There's something in the water up there, isn't there? In the Midlands. I don't know what's going on. Ollie Watkins he's on steroids.
He's having a good year.
And did you not see the videos of Arsenal defending?
Oh, they weren't closing down. They weren't. Arteta needs to have serious words with that defence.
Has Arteta not told them? Has he just said don't dive into the tackle because they've got good players?
He's gone full manager and said don't dive in. They're taking it too
literally. They're taking it way too seriously.
They've gone, lads.
Plan. He gets them all in the dressing room before the game and he sits them down and he gets his big whiteboard out and he just writes on the whiteboard in big letters, pass to Aubameyang.
Yeah.
That's the game plan. Get the ball, give it to him, and we'll win the game. That's it.
See, the thing is, this year, Aubameyang's been so bad.
Yeah, he's been crap, hasn't he?
That tactic, no tactic for Arsenal will work without Aubameyang. He's their only good attacker.
Post-contract, Aubameyang has been.
Been shocking.
Yeah. But 2 really good goals from Ollie Watkins. And I just think that why have you let Villa play? Why are you sitting there not tackling?
I think you underestimated them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I think what Arteta said is their only creativity is coming from players like Grealish and Barkley and Watkins. If you just stop those 3, but then they didn't even stop them. They just let them walk through, and you got bit Arsenal frauds.
It was baffling, especially after last weekend Man United when they were like quality defending, quality pressing, and then they've come out this week and done that. Did you not
watch the Liverpool game against Villa? Arteta, come on.
Yeah, at least
don't let Villa play their game.
Don't let Villa just run at you and do what they want.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's what Jack Grealish wants. He wants you to stand off him so he can bring other.
As soon as you sit back against Grealish, you've fucked it.
Yeah.
Shit haircut though. So.
But yeah, Villa. Let's not take away from how well Villa played with how bad Arsenal were. But yeah, we'll talk about that in the power rankings, which we will go on to now. And I'll pass the mic over to MC Davis to rant and rave about his little Moroccan prince, Hakim Ziyech, for a bit. Go on, mate. Go.
Young Drizzy. Ziyech was a player that we missed at the start of the season because he got injured in a pre-season friendly. We definitely should not have played. But in the 5 minutes he was on the pitch in that friendly, he set a goal up for Timo Werner in his 5 minutes. And he looked like a really good talent. It was a shame he got injured. And he's come back. He's played 4 games. He's got 3 Man of the Match awards. Saturday, he created the most chances in a single Premier League game of anyone this season. 6 goal-scoring opportunities he created on Saturday. His left foot is a wand and really should be insured for a lot of money. But no, fantastic player. And is providing the service to Timo Werner and Tammy Abraham that we've been crying out for the last couple of seasons. You have players like Willian and Pedro who are decent, but they're not providers really. They're skillful and they're fast, but Hakim Ziyech gives us a different angle to go from. He can pass from deep and he can run at people.
Yeah.
It's really impressive watching him play football. It really is.
Gavin, what do you think about him? What are you saying?
I think it's a player. Like, I don't know. I just feel like when clubs start to figure him out and know what he's doing, because we haven't seen much of him yet, managers won't know how to defend him properly. I think he's a top talent, but give him a couple more months, because we've seen so many players come to the Prem, and then all of a sudden they start to drop off a bit. It's like you've got to give him a little bit of time for clubs to figure out how to defend him, what he's going to do.
I think the diversity he's got in his game and his ability to pass from all angles anywhere, I think makes him a difficult player to play against.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
The goal that Thiago Silva scored, was a ball put in from essentially the corner flag, and it was inch perfect.
It was a corner, wasn't it?
The ball he put through to Timo Werner. Unfortunately, Werner tried to lob the kick. He's
a scholar of the game. I can't blame him for that.
Fraud.
It was a ball he hit basically blind from 50 yards away, and it was inch perfect. You watch him and you're like, Jesus Christ, what a player.
Yeah. You see him at
just
Ajax.
Sit back and enjoy it. Yeah.
What he was like at Ajax, especially in the wins against Real Madrid and that sort of thing. He was one of the best players on the pitch.
Hakim Ziyech played at Ajax for 3 seasons. He might have played for more, but in the last 3 seasons he's played there with Frankie de Jong, Donny van der Beek, Matthijs de Ligt, Andre Onana, and he's won player of the season 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
With all those boys in there.
Yeah.
Players that are now playing for Barcelona and Juve and Manchester United. Well, not playing for Man United, sitting on the bench for Man United after waste of money. But no, that says a lot about his talent. But no, I think a pretty good player, and one that I'm going to really enjoy watching for Chelsea this season.
Yeah, definitely. Right, we'll move on to the second one, which we've got down as Aston Villa. What are Aston Villa doing right, and why have they been so good this season? And why is it different to last season? It's the questions that I'm asking. Go.
They're defensively solid. That is what changed this year.
Yeah,
they've joint conceded the least amount in the league. Like last season, they were getting goals, but they just kept on conceding. Now they're not conceding; they're still scoring the same goals, and it's paying dividends for them.
Yeah, it's that sort of Konsa Mings centre back partnership has gone really well for them.
It is, because if they win their game in hand, they go top.
Yeah, which
that's
is
the thing we've got to remember.
Considering that they've practically stayed on the Premier League on the technicality of the goal decision system not working. And you just think, wow, you've really stepped up here, and a lot of people underestimated them, and just the result against Liverpool, I think, will live long in the memory of certainly me, and I think a lot of other Premier League fans as well.
Oh, 100%. It was just a shock. That was one of the Germany-Brazil results.
Yeah.
Where you sort of look at the result and it's like, hang on, wait a minute, and then you put it down and think, oh, it'll change, and it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
It was just unbelievable to watch.
Yeah. I'd love to see Aston Villa keep this up as well. I really think
and I think
Premier League team.
I think they'll end up roughly 6th or 7th though.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't see them being good enough at the end of the year, like throughout the whole season, to get in the Champions League, because we'll see the Man Cities come through. We'll see the Man Uniteds will end up back up there. Arsenal will end up back up there. Like teams, just eventually they'll just drop back down 6th, 7th, 8th in there.
Yeah.
And get Europe next year,
which is wonderful. You think about where Aston Villa were last year. I mean, that's a massive leap. I don't think they're going to finish top 4. I don't think they're going to finish top 6, because I think that's unrealistic, considering the fact that a lot of these teams, like I said in the transfer roundup, like I said on the Bosh last week, no team in this league has had a pre-season. That's why the league looks so dodgy at the moment, because these are still teams with new signings, bedding everyone in, still trying to get used to things. Now, Aston Villa have added a lot of quality into their side. They've brought Ross Barkley in, who looks like a really good player. He's very tenacious in the midfield. They've added Ollie Watkins, who's scoring for fun at the moment.
Yeah.
Tyro Mings looks like a really good player. They've got Emiliano Martinez in goal.
Yeah. I think that's a massive difference for them.
I think that's signing of the season.
Yeah. No, I think you might not be wrong there, because who did they have last season? They had Pepe Reina for a bit, didn't they?
Pepe Reina for the end.
Or United, who was
they had tons, and they just kept getting injured, and just weren't good enough. And you look at teams that stay up, they stay up because they've got a good keeper.
Yeah, and even the top teams, Sam will attest to the fact of you have to have a good keeper in your team in order to be a competent team in the Premier League. I think that's
gives confidence to gives confidence to your entire team when you know you've got someone good in goal, and
dead on.
It's what's needed to stay up.
Yeah. Your defence, the whole defence looks more confident. The whole defence looks more assured now, because I mean, and with players like Tyro Mings in your back line, you're going to be okay. Because I think
massive.
I thought it was class when he played. I think he's class this season. I've never doubted Tyrone Mings' talent. It's a shame because he's always got enough. But I think he looks a lot better with a decent keeper in behind. Definitely.
Have to agree.
Yeah. And Ezri Konsa as well. I don't think you can underestimate him. You know, they're two massive
Fully stepped
presences at the back there. And they have really stepped up. I think it is interesting the point you say about, you know, teams not having a pre-season, because what I will say is I think you do have that sort of momentum, despite the fact, you know, we haven't had that much of a long break from Project Restart and the end of last season. And I think that's where teams like that have really stepped up, because, you know, if you're on the beach for the entire Project Restart, you haven't really put 100% into a game before like February. So that might be a theory that I've got, but yeah. Anyway, we'll move on to the last one of the positive power rankings, and we'll go to Bruno Fernandes, and his performance on the weekend, which was masterful. I think he was absolutely quality.
Shithousery.
Yeah, no, he's a proper. He's horrible to play against. He really is.
That's why he looks so good.
Yeah. No, he gets into those positions. He draws those fouls, and you know he does get into the faces of the opposition. And I think that's what Fernandes brings to that team that they've been so desperately missing in that midfield for a while now.
One of the best bits about him is he's not scared to kick lumps out the other side either.
Yeah.
He's not one of these little playmakers that dances around all game. He's fully willing to get back in that box and put in a last-ditch challenge, which is what Man United need at the moment.
He's very much an old-fashioned central midfield playmaker, because he doesn't. I mean, United play him in behind the striker, but realistically, he's so used to coming deep and getting the ball. He does play more of a central midfield role, and then he kind of carries the ball forward. And I think that's what's impressive about him, is that he has the ability to come deep and play in those spaces, you know, off the back line, off to the wingers, off to the fullbacks. You know, he has that footballing mind.
He can quite literally do everything on the pitch.
He also has the ability to arrive, as he did on Saturday, at the right time and head. You know, he's good with his head, he's good with his feet. You know, the ball he put in for Rashford was inch perfect into his second goal, and obviously Cavani sealing it late on with his first goal for United. But yeah, overall, Bruno Fernandes was Saturday. I mean, and not just like Gervin said, not just in what he did on the ball, but you know, in his passion, his tenacity.
That's why
Everton.
I think him and Van der Beek would be so good together. Because I think Van der Beek again brings that tenacity. You know, a lot of people are saying, you know, it makes the midfield too attacking, but I personally
those two together with McTominay or someone in behind makes sense. It's just you can't then play Pogba, you can't then play.
No, you can't have a midfield three of
probably can't play Fred. Probably can't play Fred in there either.
Yeah, you need a Matic or McTominay realistically.
Yeah, you need a proper break-up player just to protect that defence.
In the January, I think that might be an area where Manchester United go out and get someone.
There's not many around at the moment though. Top level ones.
Yeah.
No, definitely not. But I mean, could they do worse than Declan Rice?
I knew you were going to say that. It's such a prick.
I don't think he's worth it. You know.
Oh, right.
80 million for him. Like, you could go to France and pay 80 million and get one of the world's best. Like, not just a young lad from London. Like,
it's not just a young lad from London. But all right.
No, I'd say for 80 million. For 80 million 2 years ago, that was getting your Ballon d'Or winners. Like,
you know, but they've got that 30 million plus extra on the English premium. He's an Englishman, so you go.
It's not like they went. Is that the same? Is that the same as when they went to Italy and spent 90 million and got the world's best, and now he's sat on the bench and everyone's slating him?
Yeah, it's a good point.
You know, sometimes you need to look at the players who are going to fight for a position. You get Declan Rice in, that's his chance at a massive club.
Sean Longstaff hired.
I was going to say Sean Longstaff, Declan Rice. You know, in a sense, Scott McTominay, because this is their chance at a massive club. You go and get Paul Pogba, who thinks he's magic already because he's, you know, £89 million. He's walked in, he thinks he's good enough to basically do whatever he wants, and he's going to be brilliant. You know, you might need this is what's happening to English football now. This is why English players are costing so much, because it seems as though if you give these younger English players like Mason Mount, Declan Rice, Phil Foden, Ollie Watkins, you give these boys the opportunity to prove themselves at the top level, then they might step up, and that is where you're going to get the really good performance.
It's a very bright future for England.
From his boys who are really put a lot of passion.
We just need a decent manager.
Yeah.
I know we're 2-0 up at the moment.
Arsene Wenger, please. Arsene Wenger, please.
Oh,
so
that's
badly.
the one.
Can you imagine Arsene Wenger at England playing total football?
Oh my God, I need it.
With the players we're going to have, this is the first time with the players we've had, we can actually play decent football.
Yeah. Foden and Greenwood.
Bloody good. I mean, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Chilwell at fullbacks.
Yeah.
Oh, mate. We're hopeless at centre-back options. We ain't got anyone. But
Jamal Lascelles, mate.
Joe Gomez and Jamal Lascelles would be an interesting pairing. But we're not even talking about England. We were just talking about Bruno Fernandes, and now we've ended up talking about...
Right, we'll move on to the negative ones then. We talked about him a bit earlier, but yeah, Ademola Lookman is at the top of our negative power ranking.
I don't know how he comes back from this. He's lucky there's no fans in the stadium.
Yeah, oh my God, can you imagine?
He is lucky. He would not have made it out of that stadium.
60,000 people screaming at him in Cockney. It'd be wonderful.
Right. He would have been bottled everything.
No, they're all from Kensington.
Oh.
I don't know where you think Fulham fans come from.
They'd have been throwing bottles of Corona at him.
No, it was at West Ham, that's what I was saying, but yeah. Right.
Throwing Moe at him.
Moe and caviar.
Dom Perignon bottles launched on the pitch.
I don't know why I'm compared. Chelsea from the same place.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't drink Moe or throw. I'd go for Mason. It's not my bag, really.
Yeah.
I shopped at Aldi last year. But I'm not a Fulham fan. You know, it might be a different vibe. Hugh Grant's a Fulham fan, so, you know. That's the level.
Yeah, it's not like the Queen lives in your city or whatever, but yeah. All right, we'll move on. We'll go with Arsenal for our second negative one. Really naive performance, I think, is what I'd describe it as against that.
I was just about naive, not knowing what he's quite doing, not quite used to those games yet, Arteta.
No, why?
Because and he's only been a first-team coach for what? 9 months now. He's only been a first team manager since September.
Yeah, that is true.
So he's not had loads of game time to actually learn what to do against these teams that play like Villa do. Because
you do give him a bit of leeway, don't you?
Right.
The Premier League niche when you come in as a manager in it, understanding these games against the relegation sides. And I'm not saying Villa are a relegation side, but if you were to say on the balance of things, you were to look at and go, who's the bigger team here, money wise. Player-wise, you look at Arsenal and go, yeah, they're ahead. But playing against these smaller teams, the same thing I said earlier, you know, and you were saying about Villa maybe having a bit of momentum coming into this year. Arsenal definitely looked at this and didn't think that it was a tough fixture, maybe.
Yeah, I think naive and complacent, I think is what I'd say about Arsenal. And you can't be complacent against this Aston Villa side this year. And the last one on the power rankings will be Sheffield United.
Going down. I just 2 goals from open play all year. How are you expecting to stay up?
It's been pretty crap, hasn't it? I think
it's been awful.
They've spent how much on strikers?
Scored both of their goals this season.
Yep,
one
from open play.
Arsenal, one against Chelsea.
Chelsea, yep. I'm sorry, but how much have they spent on attackers like past few windows and?
To still, it's not good enough at all, is it?
Thing is, this year there was so many good young. Not even young, just English talents available that would have suited them. And then went with Ryan Brewster, who's unproven. Yeah. Not going to be good enough. Paid over the odds for him.
Well, yeah. You look at some of the players that have come into the Premier League and you look at Ollie Watkins and that sort of player.
Well, Ollie Watkins, Callum Wilson.
Yeah.
They're on 6 goals each. Like, why weren't they in for one of those? Their top scorer last season got 5 goals. Like.
Yeah.
You know,
but yeah, 4-1.
You do look at them and you start to wonder where the results are going to come from. You know, the next
they've got West Ham
games against West Ham.
They've got to go to Wilder soon.
Really?
If this was a Spanish young manager, there's no chance. There's no chance he'll still be in the job. Yeah, like no chance.
It's because they're loyal to Sheffield.
They're loyal to him. But that's going to be why they go down. They'll keep holding him too long. It'll get to Christmas.
Yeah. There definitely is a romanticism about Chris Wilder because he was obviously
he's done so much for them.
It was an integral part of them coming up from the doldrums of English football. I think that is a lot to be admired. I think that their system now, this overlapping centre backs, which was so
I don't think they're even doing it anymore.
They don't have the centre back to do it.
No.
Lundstrom's throwing a strop, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's trying to get his way up there.
I mean,
That's the thing.
And without that, I said this at the start of the year in our preview, I think, when I was talking about Chrissy Wilder and Sheffield United. I said, look, they'll have a good season. My only qualm with them was when this overlapping centre-backs got figured out, was there a plan B? Was there a second option for this team with the players they've got and the quality that they looked to possess last year, but apparently do not possess this year. And it doesn't look like there's a second plan for them at the moment.
No. When do they move away from the 5-back is what I'm saying.
Do they get someone in with new ideas and new vision? I mean, you look at their next games. West Ham, and then in a couple of games we've got Leicester, then Southampton, then United, then Brighton, then Everton.
There's no points coming. There's no points coming from them.
No, Southampton are playing. West Brom.
I've been a West Ham fan long enough to know that there's always points up against West Ham.
But realistically, if you're basing it off form, they're not beating any of them.
No.
Yeah, their biggest games are against West Brom and Burnley.
Especially the form that everyone else is in. Burnley's the only one I can see them getting points against.
And West Brom, potentially.
West Brom have been all right lately. They're unlucky against Spurs to lose at the death.
They lost against Fulham the week before.
They lost against Fulham. Yeah, lost against Fulham. That was a bit of a shocker. But I don't know. I just can see them having enough to beat Sheffield United.
It'll be interesting. I think we're approaching now the point in the season where you can really start to predict how teams are going to go before the end of the year. Before the end of the season. You get an idea from form and you get an idea of the quality in the teams and things like that. And Sheffield United is showing nothing at the moment. Seems like even reminiscent of a team that's going to stay up, which is a shame because I did enjoy watching them last year. But you've got to keep it.
Say bye. Got to say bye to them eventually.
Yeah. Well, you've got to keep adapting to stay alive in this league, and they don't seem to want to. And I think that's the issue with them. But no, we will move on to our predictions for next weekend.
I didn't realise this, but the first game of next Saturday is actually your two teams facing off.
It isn't.
Each other.
It is indeed.
So what are you saying about that game? What are you guys thinking?
I don't like Chelsea going to James's Park.
You don't win at St James's Park.
Really?
You don't enjoy St James's Park. Now, do I think we'll get a result? I think we'll win, but I don't think we're going to win comfortably like we have done recently. We beat Burnley 3-0 away. We beat Sheffield United 4-1 at home. I don't think it's going to be one of them. I think Newcastle are going to make it really tough for us. It'll be a real test for Reece James up against Alan St Maximin. A real test for him. Do I think he's good enough to keep up with it? I do. I think he will deal with it in the way that he's dealt with a lot of players this season. I think we'll come away with a win. I think it'll be 1-0.
I'm going the exact same, but in the opposite direction. I think it's going to be the exact same as last season's game. 95th minute, scrappy goal at the back post.
Who scored?
Isaac Hayden. It was whipped in by Maxi at the back post, taps it past Kepa.
It was.
I can just see it happening.
Well, that's the difference, isn't it?
I can just see it happening. I can just see it happening again.
But no, I think me and Gavin were always going to disagree on this result, so there's no point in sitting.
We definitely won't get we won't batty, we won't get goals early on. I can just see us if we're going to win it, it's going to be some 90-something minute penalty or something dodgy.
I'm actually going to split it down the middle and say a draw. Going to sit on the fence, say 1-1, because I think it's difficult to call games because Newcastle always have that ability to surprise teams. I think they always will.
We're shite one week, good the next. We were shite this week, so we'll be good next week.
Yeah, there's definitely sort of a counter-attacking option for Newcastle because Chelsea do like to push Chilwell and James up very high when they're attacking, and if Newcastle can sort of keep shape, then there's definitely an opportunity for players like St Maximin and Wilson to use their pace. And, bring on Andy Carroll late doors and he'll smash one in, won't he? So,
he will. Hasn't scored in 29 games now, but yeah.
Yeah, but, that's what every striker does.
So this is going to be his one to score then, isn't it? This is going to score now.
No, you play West Ham in a couple of weeks and he'll score then.
He'll keep it for that one.
Yeah. Anyway, we move on to the next one. Aston Villa Brighton. This is an interesting game. What do you guys reckon?
Obviously,
they've been playing well.
Head says Villa, heart says Brighton.
Yeah. My head and my heart says Villa because Ross Barkley is playing there.
Just Brighton have been good.
I thought you loved Tariq Lamptey so much. I think Sam's predicted a Brighton win most weeks, apart from when they played Chelsea because of Tariq Lamptey.
Do you know what? I'm not going to do it anymore because he's upset me. as much as I am angry that we've got rid of him, I am proud of him. Yeah. He's academy graduate. I'm happy he's doing well. But I think that Aston Villa will come away with this one.
All right.
I think they're just beating Arsenal 3-0. I think Aston Villa will comfortably come away. So I'm going to say 2-0.
Okay. Gav?
Brighton have been good so far this year. They've been unlucky a few times. I'm seeing Brighton 1-0.
I'm going to be boring again. I'm going to say a draw. Because I think that Aston Villa like to rise to the occasion with some of these teams, and I don't think they'll see Brighton as much of a occasion to rise to. So, and I think Brighton will catch him. So I'm going to say a high scoring draw. I'll say 2-2.
Okay.
But next one. Oh, this is a corker.
The one everyone's looking forward to.
How many goals Crystal Palace are going to score? No. Well, this is either going to be a Sean Dyche speciality. It's going to be another 0-0 on a pay-per-view day, or we're going to be looking at a Crystal Palace win. It won't be anything in between. That's the issue with Burnley this year. Is they'll either hold out and not concede a goal, or they'll concede 3. I think that's where we're at with Burnley right now. So I don't know whether to go. I think it'll be. Do you know what? 0-0.
0-0. Interesting. Gov?
Palace 2-0.
Yeah.
Burnley are shocking.
I'm going to say 3-1 to Palace. Yeah. Radio will go on to Fulham home to Everton.
Yeah.
Everton need to win.
Everton will win.
Richarlison's
back.
Yeah, is he?
Back.
Okay, that might be.
He's back this game, so
I might back it then.
They're winning this one.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
I think Fulham have got the quality to keep up with them. If Richarlison, Rodriguez, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin are all in the starting 11, I don't think Fulham have got the quality to be able to maintain that. So
they'll have Digne back. They'll have Coleman might be back. They're back to full strength.
Yeah, and it's a very scary prospect for Fulham playing against a team like that, especially when they haven't got quality in their back line. So I'm going to back Everton to win 4-0.
Ooh. I'm just going to say 2-1. What about you, Gav?
I'm saying 5-0 Everton.
Wow.
Big. I think Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin's just going to be too much and just going to run away with it.
All right. Next one we've got. So again, as we mentioned earlier, sort of the next title challenge for Liverpool, especially with their depleted back line with their injury crisis. Will Jamie Vardy put Liverpool to the sword is the question that I'm asking, I think.
I'm going to be controversial, and I'm going to say Leicester are going to win this 3-1. And I think Jamie Vardy's going to score 2.
Big.
I don't think Liverpool, the way Jamie Vardy's playing at the moment, I think this will be a much bigger test for Matt Phillips playing against Jamie Vardy with all of the tricks he's got in his box. Even Joel Matip playing against Jamie Vardy is a challenge, but for an academy graduate to be playing against the Premier League's top scorer from last season, and the way that Harvey Barnes is playing against James Milner, James Maddison, Yuri Tielemans has been very good. James Maddison's looked really good. I think Leicester City are actually going into the game with, a more promising starting 11 than Liverpool. Funnily enough,
don't sleep on Dennis Pratt either.
No,
very good
player. Underrated.
Very, very, very good player.
Very good. I think Leicester City are going to beat them. I don't think Liverpool have got enough defensively now that they've lost, and obviously that is through no fault of their own. But Liverpool after last season have had some injuries coming, and unfortunately for them, it's happened all in one area of the pitch.
I think that's harsh.
That's the reality of football, and I think that Leicester City will win 3-1.
Okay.
I think that football Twitter will explode.
Yeah. What I will say is there'll be an interesting battle between Diego Jota and that back 5. Diego Jota, Mane, and Salah, obviously, but I think Wesley Fofana is his first real test at the top level. because he's been really good so far. So we'll see how he does, because they've sort of got a makeshift back line. I don't know whether Timothy Castagna is back by then, but playing that back five of Justin, Fuchs, Fofana, Evans, and whoever right wing back is, I can't. The name escapes me.
Very interesting fixture.
But I'm gonna say Leicester win 2-1.
I'm gonna agree with that, but I'm also gonna say it's gonna be 3 penalties. I'm generally willing to say
Jamie Vardy and Mo Salah.
Every single goal will be a penalty in that game.
There'll be 3 handballs as well.
Yeah, I can just see it happening. The way those teams play.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a surprise.
No. Right, we'll go to the Old Trafford then. What we're saying, Man United, West Brom.
Ball draw.
Really?
Man United turn up one week, don't the next.
Yeah, you might be right.
West Brom.
0-0.
Just like that, I think boring 0-0 game.
Manchester United cannot seem to perform at home this year in the Premier League.
That is true.
Yeah. This would be a catastrophic result if they don't win this.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
Anything but a win for Manchester United here is catastrophic.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. This is the issue that United have had all season, is that they will go and beat an Everton, but then they'll come home and lose or draw against a team they really should be beating. And that's why everyone's questioning Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because is he consistent enough to justify keeping him in this job?
Joe, I'm going to change my prediction.
Go on.
Do you know how Man United have that ridiculous stat about when they lead at home at half time, they've never lost?
Yeah.
I think they're going to lose that this week.
Really?
I don't know what. I think they could lose.
Massive shout.
I've just suddenly thought, hang on a minute, this seems like the game that it would just sum up Man United this year.
Yeah.
Lose that record, 290 odd games.
Anyone who's listening, if this happens, you know.
Yeah, if this happens and it goes viral, thank you very much. We'll have you on as a permanent fixture if that happens.
Called it already.
Take my space, mate.
Just do it by yourself.
Just go and sit there and just predict things for the future.
Don't
really worry about football.
Random
just do
things.
Politics.
Yeah.
Just that random things that are going to happen.
Kanye 2024? Question mark? No.
It's a fantastic Saturday football. This.
Yeah.
These games are going to be rearranged though. These aren't the final times, I don't think.
I was about to say.
I hope not.
Because because there's no pay-per-view this week.
Yeah.
So they're going to rearrange games because they've all got to be on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they're going to do that.
Surely they'd have some on a Friday and some on a Monday like they usually.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if they can do the Friday because international, isn't it? So yeah, people coming back.
They might push him to Monday. Who knows? Well, I hope they keep Newcastle Chelsea at 12:30 on Saturday because that's my favourite time.
Oh no, yeah, that one's already on TV. So that one's there. I think it's the rest of them. All the 3 o'clocks will change.
Yeah. All right. Well, Wolverhampton Wanderers against Southampton. Interesting. Away at Wolves, they've looked a little bit better, but still not convincing. I think Southampton are going to beat them away from home. I'm going to go 1-0. I don't think it'll be convincing, but I think Southampton have looked good this year so far, and I think I'm going to predict a James Ward-Prowse free kick again.
Che Adams gets 9 goals, and Tom Darling streaks on Molyneux with it.
Tom Darling managed to get into a locked-down football stadium. Wearing a dress
and rainbow flicks Rui Patricio. No,
just stares down the camera. Not Soul Brothers, that's for you.
Yeah, and his mate in drag is behind him.
Right, go on. What are we saying for predictions for this game? You said Southampton win. Gav, what are you saying?
I think it depends which Wolves turn up, but I'm going to say Southampton 1-0.
Yeah, I'm really boring this week. I'm gonna go for another draw. 2-2.
Lambo, if your prediction comes in, the odds on that would be mental.
Yeah.
Drawing every game.
Yeah, shut up.
Lambo's very decisive this week. Here for it. This is an interesting game.
Yeah, Spurs City.
Game of the weekend.
I mean, apparently title
Spurs love playing City as well.
Who cares? Spurs.
Spurs have a good record against City, if I remember rightly as well.
Yep, and Mourinho as well.
Yeah. Another Mourinho pet showdown as well.
It depends if Kane and Son Depends if Kane and Son turn up. 3-0.
3-0 City. The agenda is unbelievable.
I'll say that is a bold prediction.
You've asked me to come on here to be impartial, but overall,
Do you know
agenda's going to
so I never asked you to be impartial. So.
Spurs with the best defence in the league.
Yeah, I'm
but
not sure.
Realistically, they're from North London, so
It's a good point. Automatic.
Automatic loss.
Automatic 3-0.
How it goes.
They're going to forfeit like on FIFA and you get the 3-0 loss.
Spurs will find a way to finish 5th this year. I can't see them I can't see them finishing top 4. They'll find a way.
What are you saying for this one?
Anyway.
Man City 2-1.
Yeah. Do you know what, guys? I'm going to go for a draw. No, I'm actually going to predict something.
This could actually be a draw.
This could actually be a draw, yeah.
This is like the most likely to be a draw out of any.
I'm going to say a Spurs win.
Yeah.
And the call fell silent.
I just can't see it. I think City are too good.
Sam's just punching a wall. Yeah.
I think City are too good.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, we'll move on to Sunday's games. Sheffield, West Ham. What are you guys saying for this one? Gavin, what are you saying for this one?
I'm going to go out and say it's going to be 8-0 West Ham, if I'm honest. Just I can't see Sheffield United getting anything.
Gervin's gone fishing.
Generally think it could be a big score. Right, if Man United thing happens and then it's 8-0 West Ham, I'm bloody...
Mark Noble with 5 penalties.
Could see it happening.
Yeah.
I'm going to go off the beaten track here massively. I think Sheffield United need a result, and I think that they're going to win. They're going to win 1-0. I really do. I really do.
1-0.
Joker.
Said a lot about
Mikel Antonio back. Oh, you're joking, mate. You're
I think
joking.
it's going to be 1-0.
He's getting at least 4 of them.
4 of them.
Bonner back and Mikel Antonio. It's over for Sheffield. I'm saying West Ham.
So much agenda in this call.
Yeah, a lot of agenda.
Let's go on with it. Leeds United against Arsenal.
Massive game.
Very big game.
Classic Premier League game. This is
big for both managers as well.
Yep.
If this was 2004, we'd be shitting ourselves.
Yeah. Like, oh my god, what? Mark Viduka.
Do not bring Mark Viduka's name into this call.
You're getting me too excited. You can't mention Mark Viduka in a podcast and not.
2004, this was Viduka against Henry. Now it's Lacazette against Bamford.
Xhaka.
Lacazette versus Bamford. It's not good. Definitely saying this game is taking it. Kieran Tierney against Stuart Dallas. Not definitely taking a downwards peak, but I think it'll be an interesting one.
Yeah.
I think Arsenal will win. I think Arsenal will bounce back from last week. Like you said, I think they had the quality to beat Aston Villa. I think they just approached it naively, and I don't think they'll make that mistake again. So I think Arsenal will win this game 2-0.
Go what you're saying. Last one.
This is the game that Arteta. He's been good in them before. He knows how to press teams that like Leeds United. I think he'll come out 3-0.
I'm going to do the clean sweep with that one. Then I'll say Arsenal win.
I thought you meant you're going to do a draw again.
No. But yeah, that's it. That's the Bosh. It's all done.
That's the Bosh. We did a Bosh.
Cheers for coming on, Gavin. It was a pleasure, mate.
Anytime, lads.
Yeah, no, it was really good. Sam, do you want to do the outro? Go on.
Valence, it's been a wonderful experience talking to the both of you this evening. I apologise to any Manchester United, Tottenham, Sheffield United, Fulham. Yeah, any Fulham fans who are sat there with their solid gold laptops in their 400 bedroom house in Kensington.
Throwing darts at a picture of Ademola Lookman.
They've got Jeremy Corbyn's face on a dartboard and they're just pinging darts at it. Keir Starmer is actually tied up in gags on the wall. If you're sat in Kensington right now enjoying
we always get the quote of the episode at the end of it. This always happens.
Yeah, if you're enjoying this episode in a flat in Kensington, I could do with some money. We'll set up a GoFundMe and you can pay for me. Fine.
I'll just take a like. Like the video. Go on. Yeah, if you haven't yet, scroll down, leave a like, leave a sub, and we'll be back next week with a couple of episodes. We're loving having guests on at the moment as well, so we'll definitely be continuing with that. But one last final thank you to Gervin. Thank you very much, mate.
No worries, lads.
And we'll see you on the next one. Thank you for listening to the Offline podcast. See you later.
Thank you.